All right, we finish up here at West Melbourne Youth Football with Billy Palmer. And, Coach, let me just say this. I have the utmost respect for you. These student athletes that I talked to today, and in particular, the first group, and the second group was great, but they're a little younger, you know. But that first group, I have never interviewed student athletes at 12 years old that spoke like that made points like that, and made sure that people understood that bond, family, all of it. It blew my mind. What do you attribute that to?
Well, first and foremost, they're a product of their parents.
Right.
Their home life, their parents don't play no games. But secondly, Coach Dan Hunger. I mean, you heard him. He takes those kids offshore fishing. He's all about family. And, Dan don't like to take credit for much of anything.
I know.
But Dan's been my right-hand man all through our off-season training where we had 70, 80 kids at times, sometimes 120 depending on the week if there's kids where I'm playing other sports. But Dan Hunger, he's our longest tenured head coach. But there's not a better dude than Dan Hunger around here. West Melbourne's going to miss him when he's down here, but he does those kids right.
And these kids restored faith in me in a little bit today. And I got to be honest with you, with everything that's going on in college football and even in high school, and I love our high school kids, Coach, I do, but with transfer portals and NILs and this, that, and the other. A lot of the sentiment out there today is me. And I get it because that's the landscape. That's the way it is, okay? Have you seen any of that trickle down to the youth football level? And if you have, how have you obviously kept it out of the West Melbourne football?
You see it, obviously, but I'll be honest with you, it's not the kids. It's mom and dad that think Johnny and JoJo should be this and should be that. Everybody wants to be a running back. Everybody wants to score touchdowns. I had this conversation with Tony Brown, the president of Melbourne, and our vice president of ACY today. If I'm raising a kid right now, he's playing defense. Those guys are getting the contracts.
Yeah.
Those running backs are playing 2 or 3 years in the league. See you later, bye.
Gone.
It's just, there's a lot of parents that want to score touchdowns and all that. And that's fun. That's fun. I mean, obviously I was an offensive lineman, but it's our program that, like, exactly what those kids said, the discipline, the respect, the hard work, the family ties that this program has. People buy into what we do.
You're absolutely right, and that's a great point that you make. You see a guy like a Marcus May sign the contract he signed this offseason, a West Melbourne alum. Mm-hmm. And then, you look at the C.J. Gardner-Johnsons and the Jamel Deans are going to re-up as well. But, yet you see two of the best running backs that have ever come through Brevard County in Javian Hawkins and Jay Sean Corbin, who 20 years ago would have been a top five rounds pick. They would have been drafted in the first 5 rounds somewhere. Go undrafted.
Coach, those are two of the best running backs, two of the best athletes I've ever seen in Brevard County. Jay Sean Corbin, twice I played him at this field. It was literally 4th and like 20. Snap goes over his head. He's punting the ball because he's an all-around athlete. Goes over his head. He picks it up and runs through Ladarius Tennyson, Jared Baker, all those guys, and scores a touchdown. And I'm talking 60, 70-yard touchdown. Jay Sean Corbin is a freak of an athlete.
Yeah.
But it's different. And I had that conversation, me and John Mallinger, about Davis. He played receiver in high school, wanted to go play receiver at West Virginia, Mississippi State, all wanted to go play receiver. Playing safety, learn how to flip your hips and go make money.
Yeah, no doubt. Go knock it down instead of trying to catch it, or catch it if you can in that secondary, but knock it down for sure. Coach, when I was here at the Marcus May camp, I noticed guys like Mallinger back and other alumni of this program. I do see that in some other programs, but never to the extent that I see it here at West Melbourne. And I ask you this question every year, so I'm going to ask it again. Why is this program so special?
Because of guys like that, because of, I speak about guys like my father, Jack Pinella, who's no longer with us. He retired from coaching, but Joe LaPointe. They've been out here for 20, 30 years. They got no kids left in the program, but they're just giving back because they enjoy it. And those guys come back like Marcus and Davis, and, it's not something like, hey, I need you to come to the field. It's, hey, Coach, when y'all got games, when you got practice, let me stop by and say what's up to them. They just you come out here on a Saturday night for the older games, and you got guys like Jared Baker, and those guys are BJ Daniels has been out
They're
here.
here.
They stopped by the field because this meant so much to them growing up, because guys did that for them. You know, older guys that played came back and watched those guys play.
Right.
I remember when Marcus played and his older brother and his men's softball team, the M-Town, all this Melbourne gear. Every Saturday night, they'd be in front of our concession stand, 15, 20 deep, watching Marcus play.
You know, I asked this, and I know you catch some of the interviews that we do, but every time I get a student-athlete onto the set, the other night I had two, and Hunter Turner and Cody Black that had played down here, and recently I had another young man on, and I've talked to guys like Joseph Tenta about this, and guys that are in high school now, and my question to them is always, what makes West Melbourne so special? And inevitably it is the coaches. You know, you don't see, I mean, Brevard County could probably take a lesson from West Melbourne in how to keep a coach. And I'm talking about, you know, the administration part of that, you know, because our coaches at the high school level, unfortunately, because first of all, you guys don't make money, okay?
It's nonprofit.
And nonprofit. So why, I mean, where does the love come from?
I just think that's genuine people here. You know, our leadership, Chris Lee's still our president. You know, he's been our president. I think he's going on his 12th year.
How long you been here?
So I played my first game here in 1994, 3 years old. I obviously played, my last year of playing here was 2004. Obviously played at Mel High for 4 years, and then decided that I didn't want to play football anymore. So Coach Todd Wilson, the time at Mel High, asked me if I would coach. So I started coaching, and Jack Piniella was like, I need you to come back out here. So I started 2009, started coaching back out here again. And
you know, it's to me, it's wild because you guys don't care what's going on in the rest of the county. And look, we all know. I've talked to Miss Shatina Brown about this. I've talked to, you know, other league directors and presidents about this. You know, there's a lot of politics in youth sports, and especially youth football. But you guys seemingly, and you mentioned Chris and his tenure here, over the last, you know, since I've been affiliated with Brevard County Sports, you guys have made decisions that you don't care what's going on in the outside world. What I mean is, with other programs, you've done what's always best for West Melbourne the year of the pandemic. Other leagues did everything that they could to play. You guys said, you know what, we're going to shut it down because that's what's best for us. Right. Talk about that.
You know, we have this mindset of looking at it like when you're at a business and there's, you know, 10 businesses that can rent out. You need that master tenant that no matter what, you have that tenant that can help pay for everything else, right? So you have these voids that other people are going to come in and fill, but they're in and out. We're going to have a stable foundation no matter who's in charge in this league. We've laid it out that way. You know, we have, I don't know, 12, 15 board members, all capable of doing anything that we can do. We got a guy last year, first year, Luke Stewart, owns Dean Stewart.
You love Luke. Luke's a great guy.
Luke stepped in and filled our our treasurer role. I mean, and people, it's just boom, you know, the next guy, and it's just
next man up. It's like football.
Exactly how our board operates, and like I said, it's just, you know, you got alumni that come back. Our donations come back from businesses of guys that played out here, and, you know, so you know, we don't have to necessarily worry about funding, you know, fundraisers and you know, our golf tournament that we just had. They have a big wild game party, which is, you know, in February. So those things that make money to where we don't have to have the kids go. We're fortunate to go do bucket drops and things like that.
There are a lot of leagues that could not have recovered from that, from saying we're going to shut it down. We're not playing, you know, but that just goes to speak to the leadership, the stability. And the other thing I noticed, too, is there's always a lot of trash talking that goes on, right? I love it. But I don't see a lot directed at West Melbourne because when the chips come down and they got to line up and play you guys. Now, I know everybody wants a crack at you guys, but it's we want a shot. Not a lot of trash talking there.
Listen, you know, like speaking on that COVID year, you know, we lost a lot of kids because we didn't play football. Right. Oh, you're not going to get them, not going to get them back. I'm going to let you know right now, our senior team, 49 kids registered, can only carry 35. So
you got to make cuts.
Our 12U team has 35. Mine and Coach Durst's team, 50.
Wow.
Every one of our rosters is 35 plus.
So you got some decisions to make.
Everything's going to be fair for the kids. You know, it's one thing I've noticed coaching youth football is a lot of kids are going to kind of walk off themselves and realize football's not for them. But you know, it's the trash talk.
Yeah.
People don't like us, but they respect us.
Yeah, it's a bittersweet problem to have, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you've got the talent, now you get to decide. You know, and I know that you want to keep them all. I know you do. But you guys didn't get to be where you are after 52 years because everybody gets a trophy either.
Well, honestly, we got 85 kids signed up in the 12U division between 11U and 12U teams. If we could find some of these, if there wasn't a shortage of everything in town,
You would put another team together.
we'd have 3 teams.
Yeah.
We don't turn kids away.
No.
But we can't get the equipment. I mean, we order these from Mike.
What's the holdup? I mean, is it just not available?
It's just, I mean, ask any high school coach. They send these things back for reconditioning. Half of them come back with no face mask. They don't have the buttons. They don't have the ear pads. I mean, it's been a complete mess. I know, speaking to my dad, you know, Heritage, they had helmets sitting in Mexico for like 2 or 3 months, unaccounted for, no clue where they were, and Mike finally found them. You know,
What was it like to finally get one of these last year for you?
I mean, I've had a couple. It was the first one. You know, I've always been with Jack and my dad. So
But I'm saying, for you, man.
They always told me it was, you know, because of those guys, jokingly. But no, I mean, it's not for me, man. It's for those kids. Those kids earned it.
But didn't it feel good, though?
Of course, man. That's the ultimate goal.
You got to pull it out of this humble guy.
Yeah, you know, Tony Brown did something I thought was very unique for our league. We've been trying. He went and got these kids these rings. You know, we changed up the trophies from the 6-foot trophies to make them look like the Lombardi trophies. Right. But, you know, I say we played 19 football games last season on our team. You know, we started August 13th or 20th, and we played our last game like December 10th at Nationals. We finished 7th out of, I think, 19 or 20 teams.
Wow.
Got our rear ends kicked by a team in the second and third round. But, you know, that's part of football.
What you do.
It was the first loss those guys have had in 3 years.
What is the difference between, and for those out there that don't know, that have kids that are becoming up, what's the difference between, like, the league that you're in and a Pop One? I mean, what is the difference between all of these leagues?
So ACYA is the league we're in. We are an AAU member league. You know, Pop Warner's got boundaries and things like that, but, you know, it's county ball. I think there's 2 or 3 county teams that aren't in our league. The rest are in the county. We got Vero Beach, Sebastian, some Treasure Coast teams. And then we have, I think there's 8 or 9 leagues in Orlando that are part of our AAU affiliation. So we get to play for an AAU state championship. AAU buys us trophies. There's one sitting up there. You know, our 12U team last year, that's seniors this year, won that. So, you know, you get to compete for a state championship, and then you get to go play in the national tournament, which is a 5-day tournament. You know, we're by the book. You know, the rules are the rules, and we're going to follow them. And it's simple. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what. I first of all, I just want to say, as we can set the wrap up here with Billy Palmer, I appreciate our friendship and relationship because I love what you do with Brevard Sports Network and the broadcasting you do. So let me thank you for that. And always, you guys are always first every year. We always make West Melbourne first. A couple of years ago when we launched, and I was looking to start profiling and previewing youth football leagues, you know, talk to Billy, come right down. I love coming down here. We got to get that alumni to build us a little small tower press box so that way we can come down because it's tough to shoot out of that.
We had one that had a little bit of a welding issue. It got welded, and now it's at somebody's hunting camp. I won't mention any names.
I got you.
But,
I got you.
No, I mean, I enjoy myself with Friday nights, whether it's with Blue, Caleb, or Logan, and you allowing us to do that. But more importantly, I want to thank you for what you do for this county, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
It's you know, second to none.
Well,
we appreciate you here at West Melbourne. You know, when I was at Melbourne High School, I know we appreciated you. No matter who you were with, you know, what you've done, you've made everybody else step up their game. And the only people that are benefiting from this are the kids. So we do appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you, Billy, and that's for sure. As you look at this program and know what lies ahead coming up in the weeks for practices, and, you know, I mean, I don't envy the position that you coaches are in for having to do with the number. I mean, it's great that you got all those kids, but they all can't play. But with that said, looks like another great year for West Melbourne football.
Numbers are good. Coaches are back. Always looking for younger guys, new coaches, flag coaches to come in and step up and, be a part of it. But, a lot of our coaches, they just get along, Alan. They hang out in the grill on Saturdays because, their team's not playing until 4 o'clock or their team played at 8 o'clock and they're going to help cook. And, they get along. We have coaches gatherings and guys that have been out here for a while, new guys. But I think it's going to be a very successful year. Our flag numbers are approaching 100 kids signed up for flag football. Our cheer numbers are good.
You ever have other league directors reach out and say, what are you doing?
They do it all the time. Some guys will say, you got to emulate, what West Melbourne's doing. And everybody's different. Everybody has a unique situation, or somebody might be in a unique part of town, or there's 7 youth leagues from O'Galley Boulevard to Malabar. That's a lot of youth leagues.
A lot of kids.
Parents got to quit starting leagues when Johnny and them aren't getting what they want, or Daddy's not coaching. That would probably help some.
Yeah, that's prevalent in all sports.
It's the foundation here. It's the coaching. It's the not just the organization, but how organized we are. 3 fields. And we're going to run it this way, and if you don't like it, it's okay. There's other options for you to go play.
No doubt.
As simple as that.
There is no doubt about that. And I tell you what, as you see on your screen now, every year we come down here, we pan this room, and we show you these trophies. It's a lot of trophies, far more than 50. They've been doing this for over 50 years. There are far more, and I promise you there's another room filled with them as well. They can't put them all out here. West Melbourne Youth Football, the standard here in Brevard County for 50-plus years. I want to thank Billy Palmer and, of course, Chris and the entire staff, coaches, and administration. So, for Billy Palmer, I'm Alan Slaughterzinski for the Brevard Sports Network.